to the Meant for More Mindset podcast. I'm Yar. As a peak performance coach and lifestyle architect, I help women who are ready to reach their next level, eliminate negative self-talk, and break through what's been holding them back so they can have clarity, confidence, and prosperity in their career and lifestyle. This podcast is to empower you with a Meant for More mindset and help you reach your next level so you can uncover your purpose, reclaim your power, and reach your potential. This means no longer living by default, but dreaming big and pushing yourself to be, do, and have more. I want everyone to know that change is possible, that you are not alone, and there is an alternative way forward. Because when you change your mind, it will change your life. Hi everybody, and welcome to the next episode of the Meant for More Mindset podcast with me, Yar. And today I have the lovely Phylisia Rushà with us. Phylisia, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you.
Hi, my name is Phylisia Rushà. I am a mother to a beautiful 3-year-old. I have my own boutique virtual assistant agency, and so I help people with business support, digital marketing, and grant and funding consultancy. So whether you're a charitable organization, a solopreneur like myself, an entrepreneur, a 9-to-5er who may have a side hustle, or somebody that has a full-blown business, and you need help in whichever the business support, digital marketing, or grant and funding consultancy, I am here to assist you with excellence. So that's what I do in my day-to-day business. I do sit on 2 boards currently as a secretary. So I, of course, as a secretary, you do the minutes, you make sure that you're up to date with in communication with grant funders. I've actually just launched and started my own charity foundation in Jamaica, called Community Builders Foundation. And that is really about going into impoverished areas that a lot of people wouldn't really want to go, to make impact, to make change, and to really help the people that, I don't like to use the terminology need, because Jamaicans, they can be very prideful. It's not necessarily need, but assist them with things that is quite hard to get by. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Wow, you do. That's a lot.
I
that's a
do.
lot. That's fantastic. So before we launch into the conversation, please tell us something about you that most people don't know.
Ooh. This is always a hard question. What does something that people don't really know? Okay, I'll say this. It's not a good thing, but basically, a few years ago in my teens, I was actually in the South London press, not for a good reason. And basically, I went to a party, I got on a bus. After I finished the party, some commotion happened. I got on the bus to go back home. But at that same time, on the opposite direction, a guy was being around my year group. So what happened was the police went to the South London press and put pictures up with me and my friends getting onto the bus that is going into the opposite direction, because they wanted to talk to us because they thought that we knew something about it. Now, that was very, very heartbreaking to go into school in year 9, 14 years old, and see our faces on the front of the South London press.
Mm-hmm.
It was very, very daunting and very scary, because it was postcode gang war. So we were actually scared that maybe they would come to the school. Of course, we're afraid what our parents would say, because, if your face is on the tabloids, people tend to believe what they read in the paper, and a lot of this, we didn't know anything about it. So that's something that a lot of people don't know about me. But it's not a good thing, but that's what happened.
And was the outcome of that situation positive? I mean, as in, did the people that need to...
Yes, because the person who actually did it is currently still serving crime, I believe. I do believe, but I'm guessing it was. I'm guessing. I believe that it wasn't from any of the information that we shared, that got him arrested. But we still thank God that the person is currently paying their time for the loss of this wonderful boy's life. So yeah.
Wow. All right. So let's
onto more positive stuff.
Yes, on a more positive note, can you tell us
Yeah.
how about your story, like how you got to where you are today, like overall? So it could be your career, it could also be your personal life. I tend to find it tends to be like a mesh of the two. So
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is. Well, in 2019, October, I went on holiday for my birthday, came back with my husband, and I started feeling very, very sick. Um, Went to the doctors. To cut a long story short, found out that I was pregnant, and I didn't know what to do. So anyway, that happened. So I gave birth in July, the previous. I gave birth actually the year of the pandemic, July 2020, which of course we all know that definitely is a time to remember. That is one for the books. Didn't have my mother in the room, unfortunately, which was very daunting. I'm an only child, so I'm sure you guys can understand that. But nonetheless, it was okay because the summer that year was amazing, and we had a garden, so I was in that garden relaxing and taking in some of the sun. Nevertheless, I was a youth worker at a Baptist church. And unfortunately, my employer didn't want to give me the full 12 months of maternity leave. So it was coming towards the end of the year, and I was thinking to myself, I'm a forward thinker. I like to think for the future, and I like to plan in according to whatever. So I said, my maternity leave is coming to an end in April. There's no way that I can just sit around and look forward to the Christmas dinner um upcoming on December. I need to start thinking about what I'm going to do from the beginning of the year. So by the time my maternity leave finishes in April, I'm good, right? So at the end of the year, I was just thinking, I had this book, and this book from when I was, I believe, from when I was 18, when I left college, I used to write all my business ideas. Every idea that you can think of was in that book, every single idea. If I had an idea, a majority of them were businesses. If I had an idea, I'll just write them down. I'll just write them down. Even if I knew that I'm too young, I don't have the resources, I don't have the equipment, I don't have the people, I don't have the money, it would just be so, it would be a burden on me that I had to find a way to just get it out. And that would be me writing. Some people may call it journaling.
Mhm.
So what I did was I journaled all my business ideas. So at the end of 2021, I said, right, let me get that book and let's get to work. I need to pick at least one of them. One of these business ideas has to work because I don't want to rely on benefits. I don't want to go back to a strict 9 to 5 where I can't see my child taking her first steps and all of that stuff. So I said one of these businesses has to work. So I was going through the books, and then I came upon an idea about virtual assistants. Now, the problem with the virtual assistant business was that it was not popular in the UK, right? There was no such thing as working from home. We knew that from before. There was no such thing as trusting someone with your business, or there was no such thing as remote working, right? So I looked at that and I was just like, this is going to be a very big risk. Even though I feel like the virtual assistants business, it's like a glove on a hand. It is perfect for where I am currently. I do want to work from home. I want to be able to juggle my own hours, etc. I want to work for myself, but I'm just like, who is going to trust me with their business remotely? Everybody normally has an assistant on premise and by their side, anybody that's doing any type of work for anyone, you have to be there tangibly. So I was thinking to myself, what am I going to do? Anyway, I just kept researching. I said, you know what, I'm just going to do it. Regardless if this is an American thing, I'm just going to do it. I don't have any choice. And sometimes we in life, you tend to make the best decisions when you're under pressure. I don't know about you, but some of the best decisions that I have made has been under pressure. And I think it's because you don't have room to if or but, or you don't have room for fair. You just have to do it because that's all you know to do. For example, um, if a lion's chasing you and you're at the edge of the cliff, right? You probably know how to swim, but you've never jumped off of a cliff before, right? Some people may just say, okay, let the lion eat me, but I will jump, right? And I may survive from that jump because that adrenaline rush in me is like, it's either I jump and save my life and swim into that sea below, or get eaten by a very hungry lion. So a lot of the times we tend to make perfect, great decisions um, in the time of uncertainty and in the time of um, pressure. So I said, I'm just going to do it. I have to put all in. So I began to do my website. I began to do my service list. How am I going to serve my people? Who do I want to serve? Who is this business for? How am I going to market myself and all of these things? And I wanted to launch in January with everybody else. You know, everybody knew me, knew me. This is what I'm launching. New Year, Happy New Year. Everyone's launching things within the second week of the year. But something said to me, Phylisia, take your time. You're not in a rush. This is your own race. You're not in a rush. Take your time. And I said, okay, I'm going to I'm going to push the date back to the 1st of February. I'll launch it then. But then the night before the 1st of February, I forgot something on the website and it took me a whole day to figure out. So I didn't get to launch on the 1st of February. I got to launch the 2nd of February, 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And so I launched, I connected on Facebook groups. And a lot of the clients that I got during that time were international clients, were American clients. Now, if you guys remember 2021, okay, we call it the pandemic 2.0 because we went back down. Boris opened up the country a little bit and then we went back down again because of the second wave.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we know at that time, that's when remote working started. That's when people began to work from home. So it was easier to now introduce what I was doing to my connects, the people that I was connected to at that time, the people who I was connecting with through virtual networking events, etc. Because everybody was working from home, and even businesses, founders, whoever they were, they of course had to sometimes some of them had to lay off some of their workers, some of them had to of course trust their workers to work from home, and a lot of them just needed the support. Those that didn't have workers needed the support because not only were they trying to manage the change within their business life, but they had to manage the change in their personal life with their children are now learning from home and all of these things. So even though in the first few months, a lot of my clients were people from America, Sweden, and all of these things, that's when the UK began to warm up. Now, I always tell people this. I started my virtual assistant business before it became popular on TikTok because there was a stage where everybody every virtual VA was making noise on TikTok. Oh, you can make $100 an hour as a VA business, and I started all of that, and there was no hype. There was no hype. I literally had to put myself forward, show people what I did, and just I had to go all in. And so, by the time April came and my maternity leave finished, I was good. I was really, really good. I was serving my clients. I was attending every virtual networking event there was, making new connections. And yeah, that's definitely I can't remember what your question was, but hopefully I answered it. But this is how I started my virtual assistant business, and also even up until now, I am every step of the way with my child. There's nothing that I've never missed. I've literally just enrolled her into ballet classes. Um, she only goes to nursery 2 to 3 days a week because I still believe in having um the time for her in order to teach her some of the things that I want to teach her. I don't believe in just relying on a system to do everything for me. So it will be quite hard when she goes into school full time because it's literally just been me and her 2, 3 days a week. And then she goes off in nursery for the other remaining days. But yeah, that's how my life has changed or
It's
come
amazing.
through.
So what I need to ask you, what motivated you to keep going? Because I'm sure, like you said in the beginning, it remote working wasn't as big as it is now. So what motivates,
Yeah.
so I'm guessing that there may be times when, like, when you first started out where you kind of had to pick up momentum. So what motivated you, inspired you during that time?
Right. What motivated me was my why. And
Mm,
my why is my daughter.
mm,
And there has been a few times, I'm 3 years running now. There has been time, I won't lie to you, I'm like, I'm just gonna go back to 9 to 5. Sometimes the inconsistency can make you feel like this is not working. Um, but it it definitely is my daughter, but it all is also something that I love doing. I enjoy doing it. I don't wake up in the morning and turn the other side and sleep for 10 minutes extra unless I'm very tired. But it's something that I it's something that I truly enjoy. That's what keeps me going. It's the it's the adrenaline and the proud moment when somebody refers someone to me.
mm,
It's the this client didn't know how to do this, but now she's doing what she thought she couldn't do and even bigger and better. It's I do content shoot days where for people, a lot of people do have their side hustles, they have their product-based business that they run on the weekends or in the evenings and stuff like that. It's me helping them to put together their product shoot. Right. So what I will do is say, okay, cool. You've got a skincare brand. Let's create a mood board. I'm going to create a mood board for you from Pinterest. And this is the inspiration that we are going to take in order to do your photo shoot for you, your product shoot for you. So I create the mood board for them. I send it to them and I say, listen, the things that are in the images, try and get them as props. And so they would go to Amazon, they would buy it. And on the day we would come and we would just assemble everything together. And then at the end of the week or 2 weeks later, after we do the post production, you see that their brand, their ideas just come alive. There's something happens when the idea is no longer up here, but it's now tangibly in front of you. Whether it's a product business, whether it's a service business, whether it's you, because a lot of people are stepping out into that identity, which we call it personal branding, right? And so the business is you as a person, right? And so it's just that is the momentum. That is what keeps me going because I'm helping people to materialize their ideas because a lot of the times, they're just comfortable already and they feel like, this is just an idea. I really want to do it, but I don't have the help or I don't have the resources. So it's just going to stay as an idea. But for me, when I talk to these people, I'm like, no, you can't sit on this for too long because someone else will have the idea and they will run with it. And then you'll be kicking rocks. And angry at yourself because you didn't step out into the idea that you originally had, right? And so I think that is what keeps me going. Even times when I do want to give up, I look back at my daughter, I look at my portfolio, look at the things that I've done, and I said, Phylisia, this is not the time to retreat. This is not the time to pull back. You just need to keep going and reinvent yourself, offer something different, offer something more, repackage. I don't know, but it's something that I really love to do. And so that's definitely something that keeps me going.
that's amazing. You just sound so passionate about it. Where does that passion
I
come
don't
from? Because it's like, wow, this is amazing.
yeah.
So where does the passion come from for you?
The passion, I don't know, I'm just a natural passionate person.
Mm,
Anything that I do, anything that I'm a part of,
yeah,
I put my all into it. If I find that um the desire for it is tipping, I will pull back for a while and think, okay, is this something that I really want to be a part of, or is it something that I really want to do? But I'm a naturally passionate person,
mhm.
so it just you're just seeing my personality.
And and it sounds also like you're a go-getter as well. Where does that come from? Because I know, like you said, there are points when you're like, do I really want to keep doing this? But you have kept on. So where does that come
Yeah,
from to be inspired
that's
to
an
keep going?
that's an interesting question. Um, so I'm a Christian, so I'm a believer of Jesus Christ. I believe in God, and I read my Bible, and I gain inspiration through what I read a lot in the scriptures. And you find that a lot of the times when people when people are destined to do great things, they go through um hardship, they go through trouble, they go through hard times, etc. And even though they don't understand the reason for what we call the process, or even though they don't understand why is it they're going through something, you as the reader, by the time you go at the end of the story, you understand why. And that's the same thing that has happened to me. You know, my childhood wasn't the best. I went through a lot when I was a child. And so I think looking back, I'm like, okay, if I had to experience so much hardship, if I had to experience so much pain and rejection and all of these things, surely the end is great. Surely I am supposed to be um the person that I'm supposed to be. I still don't know. But that's what keeps me going, because I'm like, I'm not going to allow anybody to rob me off of the time where I have been processed, or the time where I have had to go through certain things in order for me to be a better person or to come out on top. I'm not going to allow anyone to rob me. I'm not going to rob myself from what I've experienced in the past, because that's just an indication of how great I am. So I think every year, I expect to see myself become better. And I know some people may think that, oh, that means you have to be here and there and seen, and I don't really care about all of that stuff. But internally, I know when I have accomplished something far greater than what my mind can imagine. I don't know if that makes sense, but there are times when you yourself will put yourself in a box and you're just at that space, or you're just at that level within your mentality, within what you're doing in your personal life, your business life. But I know there's greater in me, so I always look forward to seeing the greatness in me. So I think that's what keeps me going, and that is what makes me a go-getter, because it's about conquering fear, doing things that I haven't done before, and being honest that, okay, I may not have the experience, I may feel unqualified, but I'm going to try and I'm going to do it. And if I fail, I fail. And if I win, I'm a go-getter. Let's go again. What's the next what's the next step? What's the next challenge, So I think that's it. I wouldn't say that it's something I wouldn't say it's something external that makes me a go-getter. It's something that's internally there that just makes me want to keep going.
That is amazing. That's all I can say. That's amazing. So I have to ask you, what's one thing that you wish you would have known at the start of your journey, if you will, that you think would have helped you along the way?
Lovely question. I love that. Not at the start of my journey, from school. I
Mm,
will say from school. If I knew that starting a business wasn't as hard wasn't as hard as I thought, I would have started earlier.
mm,
Now, I may have failed because it wouldn't be the right time. That's the thing. And we have to understand that there are certain things that we want so badly, but it's not the right time. Because if I started, I left college and I went straight into work. I didn't go to university. At age 17, I would juggle my waitressing job with my college job. My college, I used to juggle my waitressing job with college. And so when I finished college, by the time I finished college, I was a event supervisor. Um, and then I went on to work at a different, like, other 9 to 5s. Now, again, if I knew that starting a business wasn't as hard as I thought it was younger, I would have started. But it may have been something different, because if I had started the virtual assistants then, the climate at that time wasn't conducive for that business. It would have failed, because everybody would looking at me and thinking, why would I trust you? I live all the way here. You're all the way over there. You're telling me that you're working from home. I don't know if you're going to steal my business. I don't know if you're actually working on the projects that I'm giving you. So it wouldn't have been the right time. And I will definitely say that my 9 to 5 days were training grounds. My 9 to 5 days is the very thing that prepared me and processed me in order to deal with clients one on one. Even if the clients are difficult, even if the clients are, they may be having a bad day and they just feel like they're going to put all their bad energy on me. My customer service experience within all of these organizations has allowed me to be able to take on certain things and not lose my professionalism, not lose who I know who I am and what quality of work I deliver. So I thank God for the 9 to 5 days, but definitely, even if it wasn't the VA, if I knew that starting a business wasn't as hard as I thought in college, I would have started a business earlier. Definitely.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. And
Definitely.
I liked what you talked about there when you talked about not allowing other people to essentially put their crap on you. So like if your client's having a bad day or just not in the best of moods,
Yeah.
how have you learned to navigate that? Because that for a lot of people who aren't maybe as confident within themselves, they do take that on.
Yeah. I think people respect you when you have character.
Mm,
Now, having character means that irrespective of whatever happens, you're true to who you are and to yourself
yeah.
and the person. If you're a horrible person, you're just a horrible person. Everybody will know how to deal with you as a horrible person, right? Um, I'm somebody who cares. I'm somebody that's passionate. I'm somebody that is considerate. I'm somebody that if my yes is yes, my yes is yes. If my no is no, my no is no. So I feel like when clients and people do um what's that word? There's a word that we use now. Um, portray, not portray, but
I'll
project.
project.
When people
Yeah.
project, yeah, what they are dealing with, and they see how you deal with their projection, I feel like even if they don't go into it fully, feel like they will think like, okay, I'm being like this to her, but she's not phased, she's not moved, she's not giving me back the same energy. We have all of these stupid memes. Oh, I'm gonna return the energy that you give me. Why? If
Mm,
you're not that person, if you're not full of that energy, how are you able to give it back? All you have to do is just either simply walk away or respectively, the first ladies will put their hand up and put up their skirts or move wherever they need to move. Sometimes when you're like in a big conference and somebody wants to move and they know it's not the right time to move but they have to,
mm,
and so they'll put up their hand and be like, I'm gonna step out. That's me. I don't argue with people. I don't That's not my energy. I'm not saying I'm a perfect person, but I know who I am, and I'm not going to allow whatever you're dealing with, whether it's a bad day, whether it's because you're just a bad person, you're not a nice person, whatever. I'm not going to allow that to penetrate on who I am. So dealing with really bad clients, I wait it out. I do contracts, terms of agreements. This is the date that we are working with each other. If I have to tolerate you for that specific time of period, I'm going to, because I'm actually bound by a contract now. As much as I want to run away from you, I'm bound to deal with you for that period of time. So I'm a do it. I'm a keep my bite my tongue and deal with it. And then sometimes, again, when people realize that, okay, how they may have treated you or how they may be acting, they're not, they will come. You're not responding to it. They will come to you and they will apologize. They will realize that, well, maybe I was quite not a good person, but this person's still a good person to me. So yeah, but I definitely that training was from my 9 to 5 days when I was dealing with clients one on one, because they're not the best. Corporate clients, they're not the best. So within my corporate days, I think that's what trains me. And then this is why I'm like this now.
wow, that's really amazing. And then in terms of your corporate days, what else have you learned that in terms of use that as a basis for your training that you use now in your career?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a solopreneur, as somebody that is a service-based business, right? especially in the age of social media. You know, people sometimes would love to work for you or with you, would love to work with you. And sometimes you give them your prices and they'll ghost you. So you talk, and yeah, I'm so excited. I really want to. Okay, send me the invoice or send me, and you send them the invoice or you tell them how much it is, and then they draw back. You can see in their face majority of the times. Sometimes they'll air you and not respond back to your emails or whatever. In my corporate days, I knew that the value that you possess, the value that the service that you're offering, and that it's of good value, you don't budge. You can negotiate and say, okay, I'll work with you. What's your budget? But at the same time, it has to make sense for me because I am the one that's doing 80% of the work, right? So, for example, I used to work for Radisson Blue Edwardian Hotels Central reservations. Now, uh, a nightly a nightly room, a room for a night is around £200.
Mm.
If somebody goes on the website or if someone calls me and says, I need to book a room for such and such nights, and I tell them the price, they know that they can't ask for a discount unless there's a discount code somewhere. They'll probably go searching for one, or they'll probably say, okay, well, I don't need it for the actual night. I'll just need it for the day. Okay, you can use it as a day use room, which is discounted. But you will never hear somebody call and be like, oh, your prices are too high. You have to do something about it. I want to say, no, because Radisson Blue has set up their brand. They know what they are delivering. They know what each guest is going to get based upon what they pay. So people already know whether or not I can afford this. I know that this is the price. And so as solopreneurs, as people who are starting a small startup business, that's one of the things that people can get anxious about. Is my prices too high? Is my prices too low? Will they like my products? X, Y, and Z. Now, a lot of the times you find people devaluing themselves, putting things too cheap, and then at the end of it, you're not happy with the profit that you've made. Or you find that, okay, you've did a discount for one person, now they've sent 10 of their friends, and now 10 of their friends expects the same price and the same discount that you gave to the person who referred them. And so they devalue themselves, and by the end of the night, or the end of the day, even though you've made the sales, but you're not happy because you knew that I worked so hard to put the right formulas, to have the right blend of oils together, to allow the fragrances to stay longer or whatever it is. They're not happy because they know the value. So a lot of people undervalue themselves because of the fear and the anxiousness of, I just want people to buy my products, right? And so in the beginning, I did feel that way sometimes, and I did I did, um, my cost, my services were lower than what I wanted it to be. But that was only because I knew that at the end of the day, people are trusting me with their business and they don't really know me like that, right? But as I continue to grow and as I continue to see the impact and the effect that I have on my clients, the price is going up, honey. And we know that we know that the cost of living crisis is out here. So you're not going to Asda and telling them to lower their price on that barbecue spare ribs that you love. So why should I lower mine? And I'm doing majority of the work. So I had to remember my corporate days and said, listen, I may not be Radisson Blue Edwardian Hotels, but I'm still a business and I need to make my money. So that's one of the ways, one of the things that I learned. Another thing that I learned was in my corporate days, which I put into, that I learned from my corporate days that I put into my business was relationship.
Mm.
Relationship, maintaining a positive relationship with your clients. And a lot of the times they did it through marketing, emails, newsletters, discount codes, all of those stuff, right? But for me, I'm a personal person. So if we are to work together, we're not going back and forth via emails. No, let's have a meeting. Let's have a Zoom meeting. Let's talk. Let's meet up in person. Yes, I'm a virtual assistant, but if you want to meet up in person to really understand what I do, how I can help you, I'm going to meet up with you. Now, there are some VAs that are like, no, if you need me to come out of my house, I'm only coming out of my house for such and such amount. That's foolishness to me because at the end of the day, yes, you are delivering a service. Yes, you want to make the most money. But for me, it's all about relationship. And building relationship and building trust. So that's what I've incorporated. So a lot of the times, VAs will say to you, oh, if you want me to do something outside of where I generally work from, coming to meet you or doing things, oh, you have to pay me this and this amount. You do have people like that. That's like, oh, I'm not leaving my house unless it's £250 or 500. That's foolishness. If you want to actually maintain positive relationship with clients, because you never know who they can refer
Yeah,
to you,
sure.
who will pay for that money. But again, it's not just all about the money for me personally. It's about the impact, and helping you to at least move from one place and go into the next place. So yeah, those are the three things. Yeah, the third thing is not always about money. It's
Yeah.
about what experience are you giving to that person. And maybe you can reap, if it's not money, if it's not in change of money, if you haven't done something for somebody for them to pay you, mentally I look at it as I will reap it somewhere else, whether that's a referral, because people will remember the good that you do for them. So I think those are three things that I would say that I've brought out of my corporate job.
Love that. So it sounds like you're someone who really believes in their source. And when I their source, I mean like believes in themselves, but also their source is in God. So
Yes.
how did you develop that?
You mean my source, like my relationship with
Yeah,
God, or
it could be your
belief in
relationship.
myself?
Both of them, because I think they both
Okay.
relate to each other, don't they?
Yeah, they kind of, yeah, they definitely do. I think again, I really had a rough a rough upbringing when I was a child. I didn't live with my mum until I was 14 years old. I was living with a friend of my mum who kind of felt like family to her.
Hmm.
Because a lot of the time back in the days, a lot of our parents dealt with immigration issues and so forth, and so they had to make certain sacrifices in order to do what they need to do in order to become legal in the country. And I feel like my mum didn't want me to get caught up in. She just wanted to sort out what she needed to sort out. But I saw my mum every week. It's not like 14 years ago. I saw my mother every week. She would always give me money. And so Lord, but I just didn't live with her at that time. But I grew up in a very abusive household. And I think when I left, there was just a huge part of me that was missing.
Mm.
I did go to church when I was young. I used to go to a Catholic church. So I knew a little bit about God. But I didn't really believe in him based upon relationship. I only knew him based upon religion and ritualistic behavior. If you go to a Catholic church, you'll understand what I mean. So I feel like after leaving, I was going to church, and no, I didn't go to church yet, but I just felt like there's a huge, and I was for 14 by the way, and I could identify that there was something missing. Like I need to be whole again. I need healing. I need deliverance. I need to feel like me, whatever that felt like. So I started going to church, and going to church, I didn't just attend church, because a lot of people have church as something where it's just a community for them, just go listen to the word, speak to your sisters and your brothers in Christ, and drink coffee, eat biscuits, and then go home and live your life. I'm that I'm 14. I grew up in a generation that we're very intentional about what we do. So I wasn't that. I was just like, I really need God in my life. I really need to be directed because I don't know where to go. I feel lost. I feel like I don't have any value. I don't feel like I have a future. I don't feel like I felt empty. And
Mm.
so I would go to church on Sundays, I would hear the word, I would hear the message, and then I would come back home and I would reread the message because we never used to record. We used to literally take notes. Remember those days where you actually had
Yeah.
pen and paper in church and you used to literally take notes? That was me. So I used to do that, and I used to go over what I've written, and I used to actually go back into my word, into my Bible, and actually read what I was being taught so that I knew it was the right thing. Um, and so as I began to read the word more, read it, read it, read it, read it more. There are so many stories in the book. There's times when I speak to some of my friends and they were like, is that in the Bible? And I'm like, yeah, like, come on, there were people, come on, like, sometimes people just think that the Bible's just a rule book. Thou shalt not do this, but you can do that. It's not. It's beautiful, and in a lot of the characters, definitely Joseph was one who I really connected with that story. So I would read that story over and over again, and then I would go to the New Testament and read the red text. Now, for those of you who have a tangible Bible, you know what the red text is. The red text is basically the word that Jesus himself spoke. So I used to always go through the red text and see what Jesus said and try to understand. And I think I began to, once I began to know what I'm reading and who I claim that I serve, which is Jesus Christ, I feel like that's where my heart now began to open up. And now I knew that I was forming a relationship, not to have a Bible study, but the word of the Lord says that he sent his spirit, the Holy Spirit, to come to be a comforter and to help us. And so I felt like in times where I would need help to make certain decisions, etc., and the Holy Spirit would be there to guide me. And so I think from there, a lot of the times, God would speak to me. I'm gifted in visions and dreams. So a lot of the times I would get dreams and visions and I would see myself doing certain things. And I'm like, wow, she looks great. She looks amazing. I'm dreaming about myself, but when I woke up, I was like, she, not me. So now that's an identity crisis. I didn't believe that what I was seeing would be me,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I had to now, and the Holy Spirit began to speak to me and he began to say, listen, a lot of the things that I'm showing you, it's not she, it's you. Now you may not be there, you may not be the person that I'm showing you currently, but it's in you.
Mm.
You just you need to we need to unpack a lot of the things that are inside of you. You need to heal, you need to be delivered, you need to be, and then that what you're seeing in your dreams, you will become it. And I'm like, okay, wow, that's nice. And I said, I'm 14, guys, so please, it didn't make sense. But I when I began to, be led by the Holy Spirit, I began to see me change my character. I was a very angry child when I was small, very angry. Um, Easy to fight, easy to do things, like very short-tempered, and I went through that process of, being calm, being gentle, being me, sometimes, yes, turning the other cheek in terms of not having to respond to certain things that it's supposed to trigger me. We use that word a lot now. I'm being triggered. La, 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 la. No, have self-control. Why is this triggering you? Right. And so if this is something that's always triggering you, you need to do the work. And so I did the work and saw myself evolve and blossom. And even my mum used to like compliment me and said, oh, Phylisia, you've really changed, etc. And hearing that from my mum would be such a motivation to keep being that better me. And now I'm actually the person that I used to see myself when I used to dream. So it keeps me going, right? It keeps me going. And I stay connected to the source. I'm confident. I know who I am. I know who I belong to. I walk with my neck up like a peacock because I know where I came from. I know what I experienced, and I didn't allow that to be a detriment to my future. Because we can always make excuses of what we went through, but you have to be intentional of not allowing that which you've went through experience to affect your future because we all have a future. All have a bright future before us. It's just that sometimes you have to go through the dark places in order to come out and see the light. So yeah, I stay connected to the source because that's all I know to do.
Oh, that's amazing. I loved when you spoke about being a better you and being connected to the source. What other
Yeah.
resources have helped you along the way to get to where you are today?
Oh, I would definitely say connecting to the right people,
Mm.
connecting to the right people, having like really good friends around you. Um, having very good friends around you, being connected to the right people, and those people may be strangers. A lot of people, a lot of the times when you go through certain things in your past, you're very, very, very scared to trust people, and you're very, very you're paranoid. You think everyone's against you, you think the world's against you, I'm just gonna say myself, blah, blah, blah. And I used to be that person until, I developed relationships, not intentionally, but I developed relationships that really helped me to be a better person. Um and you can identify good people. And when you have good people around you, treat them well. Let them know that I respect you, I honor you, I love you, because I don't think we do that enough. um we tend to just use people around us, and I don't like that because I know how people have used me in the past. So I would say that was other things as well. And life experiences, man. You go through life and you learn, and you say, okay, cool, there's certain things that I won't allow to happen, or there's certain things that I won't allow to um affect me in a type of way. Life experiences literally helps you. But I would definitely say good people around you, and those good people can be strangers or people that you formed a relationship with that you never even expected to form a relationship with, but they have been and they have impacted you in a way, basically.
Wow. Thank you. So I'm going to give it a little bit now and ask you, what has been your greatest fear and what did you learn from it?
Mm, my greatest fear was two things. Starting a business, definitely, but spoken about business too much. I think my greatest fear was being a mother.
Mm.
Definitely. I was very, very fearful of becoming a mother. Um, a lot of people deal with postpartum, but I dealt with that level of depression within the first 3 months when
Ah.
I was pregnant. And I don't think a lot of people realize that they go through it, or I don't think a lot of people know that it exists.
Mm.
Because my symptoms were really, really, really bad, really bad. I couldn't eat. I didn't eat for days. I would throw up. Like I wasn't learning my body.
Mm.
I wasn't like, it was just like the pregnancy shocks went put my body in shock. So I was just feeling all of these things and I don't know what was happening to me. And things used to come into my mind like, oh, how are you going to be a mom if you can't even handle these symptoms? These are the words that I was hearing in my mind, like, how can you're not going to be a good mom because you can't even handle these symptoms. Can't handle these symptoms. How are you gonna, you know, um, how are you gonna bring up a child into the world? And obviously things that I went through in my past, how do I know that my child is not going to experience what I have experienced? All of these things were in my head, in my head, in my head, and I was fearful. I was even fearful about giving birth. What if this happens, that happens? What if I die in birth? What if I'm not able to deliver? All of these negative thoughts happened, and I became very fearful that I'm currently pregnant and I don't think I'm going to be a good mom. Am I even ready? All of these things. And I just think that had to tap out of it. I really had to tap out. I will never forget one day I used to just sit down and I just used to cry, just cry because all the words were here.
Mm.
And when people are, oh, what's wrong? I'm just like, oh, I'm not feeling well. But I knew internally, emotionally, I wasn't well because I was just fearful of becoming a mother. But one day I said, there was a favorite funny video of mine. I typed it in and I forced myself to laugh. I had to force myself to laugh. And anytime those thoughts would come to me, I would type in the same thing and it would laugh again and it would make me laugh again until joy slowly crept back into my life and I would laugh and I would smile again. And then I would say to myself, I am going to be a good mom. Even though these things happened to me when I was a child, I'm going to be the mother. This is what I'm going to do. I had to talk myself into becoming a mother. People say, oh, I read this book. I'm not a reader like that, so I'm not really into books. But I think I had to just, again, listen to my funny videos and laugh. Um, and be very intentional about laughing so that I could get my joy back. But then I had to coach myself and say, Phylisia, no matter what happens, you're going to be an amazing mom. You are going to, because again, it was connected to the symptoms. So by time the symptoms were wearing off, and I now understood what I what I was feeling and how to eat and what not to eat and all of those things, it became a bit better. Um, and so I just had to just do stuff. So what helped me conquer my fear was being intentional about not feeling fearful anymore.
Mm.
And I know that's kind of an oxymoron because you feel the fear, but you have to fight the fear that's in you and you have to speak to yourself. You literally have to speak to yourself. And if there's anything that you need to do in order to help you to fight that fear, do it. For me, it was listening to funny videos and talking to myself. So that's what I did.
Oh, that's oh, amazing. That's I just no, I just think it's amazing. Like, and it's so real as well because I've never heard anybody talk about experiencing pregnancy experiencing depression within their pregnancy. So thank
Yeah,
you for sharing that because I'm
yeah.
sure it's a real thing that many women go through, but because they feel alone, they just it's not something that they talk about. So
They
thank you.
talk about, no, it's not something that they talk about because they feel like there's something wrong with them.
Mm,
Because what we've seen people pregnant and taking pictures and they're out, and I'm just like, how did you guys do it? Because I didn't start doing, I only have two photos when I was pregnant, two,
wow.
only two. I wasn't the one that was going out and holding my belly and saying, take a picture here, take a picture here, wearing heels. Sorry, where? How are you able to do that? You know? And so I feel like when people actually see these things and they see people enjoying their pregnancy and they're not,
Mhm.
they're like, no, there's something wrong with me because no one else is dealing with this in their pregnancy. Everyone's showing smiley faces,
Yeah,
everyone's being, so it's definitely something that needs to be spoken about. Postpartum is spoken about, but we need to talk about the depression within pregnancy
yeah.
because is serious. And I know people that deal with depression for the whole entire 9 months. They may
Wow.
have, little pockets of joy and happiness when their friends come around, maybe for the baby shower or but people do experience it for the entire 9 months. And it's not a good place to be. It's definitely not.
Wow. So we've touched on a little bit about what your fears were and are. So I wanted to ask you
Mm.
now, what excites you the most about the next 12 months?
Oh, the next one. Okay, so it's my birthday in October, and I am going to officially leave the 20s. If you catch it, you catch it. Officially leaving the 20s in October. And honestly, that is exciting for me because like for me that's a big thing. A lot of people are like, oh my gosh, Felisa, um why are you so like up about turning that age? And I'm like, because it's just big. Like I just feel like it's just big, it's different. I'm a grown woman now, like, you know. And that's definitely something that I'm looking forward to because I just wanna see like, okay, does something come with turning that age? I just want to experience it. I don't know why, but I just want to experience that age. So that's definitely something that I'm excited for the next 12 months. That's honestly the biggest and only thing that I'm excited for the next 12 months, honestly.
That's amazing. And being an amazing woman that you are, I'm sure it's just gonna expand what you already, the goodness and the greatness you already have in you, and you're gonna
Thank
flourish even
you.
more. So you're
Yeah,
welcome.
thank
Yes,
you.
yeah, just speaking to you, just like
Thank you.
so you're somebody who does a lot and
Yeah,
it sounds like you've been doing a lot for a really long time. How do you fit it
yeah.
all and what happens when you don't?
I'm an organizer, so I use my calendar a lot,
Mhm,
and I plan. I just go week by week, day
mhm.
by day. I do, again, I'm a forward thinker. I do plan for the future, but I literally take it week by week because I'm not in control, man, and trying to have all of these things in my head, and it's just long. Honestly, it's I can't take stress. So anything that helps me, which is my calendar, that's what I do. So, I will put down everything every week I will say, okay, this is what I'm doing in this hour. This is what I'm doing in this hour. If someone comes to me and be like, oh, Phylisia, we need you to do the A, B, C on this day. Oh, let me check my diary because I may be busy. I may be doing something. I may be having the and wonderful interview with you. So I can't. So
Yeah.
I utilize my calendar. Honestly, that is because I always people like, oh, you do so much. Like, how do you do it? It's my calendar. I put
Mhm.
every single thing in there, and I know what I can do and what I can't do. I know my limit. So even I every day I finish at 7 p.m.
Mm.
But I don't answer my phone at 6. That extra 1 hour, I'm offloading whatever I need to offload so that
Yeah.
I can prepare myself for the next day. So it's literally just like organizing yourself, um, and just taking. I can't take each day at a time because it's too short. So I take each week at a time,
Mhm.
um, to make sure that I'm doing what I need to do. And that includes, being a mother. I'll put in the diary, I'm taking my daughter here, the ballet class is here, no messages, no calls. I'm not, so it's just about just organizing yourself and taking each week at a time. If you can take each day at a time, do it. But for me, it has to be a week because a day is just it's too short. So yeah.
Oh, thank you for that. So what
Thank
advice would you
you.
give to a woman who wants to go to her next level but isn't sure where or how to start?
Talk to someone.
Hmm.
Talk to someone because somebody may know somebody that can help you.
Yeah.
Talk to someone about it. Say that, okay, this is what I want to do, but I don't know where to start. Also, networking. Network. Go out of your comfort zone. Try to meet new people. Because sometimes meeting new people, they don't know you. They don't know your failures. They don't know nothing about you. So anything that you give them, they're just gonna see whatever you portray, that's just what they're going to get from you. So you don't have to worry about being prejudged, or you don't have to worry about all of that stuff, because sometimes people can't see you. People that you are familiar with cannot see you in your future you. So as I said before, I am a forward thinker. I was seeing what I was seeing for myself. At that time, I was a troublesome kid at school, getting excluded, all of these things. So if I told someone, hey guys, I had a dream that I had a business and I had a dream that I was such and such place in a nice suit, they will look at me and laugh because they're thinking, you that's always getting excluded at school. What are you talking about, right? So if you are intentional and connect with people who don't know you and share again, if it's I don't know, business, if it's I don't know, having another child or something like that, whatever it is, just go out and meet other people. Now, it's easier to say just go out and meet other people. Go on Eventbrite, sign up for alerts that can tell you, okay, this networking event is happening in your area, or this mothers group is happening in your area, or this course, details or tips and advice on this course or this career is happening. Go out and network with people that are not familiar with you. And that is where you can level up, because it's people. We People are important to each other. And I know a lot of us we're in a lot of us want to be introverts and just stay in our shell and stay in our comfort zone. But if you want to go to that next level, it's somebody that's going to bring you there. You of course have to bring yourself first, but somebody's going to connect you to somebody that can help you. That's definitely one thing. And also believe, believe in yourself.
Mhm.
If you want to level up and you know that you want to do that, even if you have a little bit of fear, believe in yourself. Speak to yourself. I can do it. I need to do this. And especially if you're going through a very hard time now, hard times, difficult seasons is an indication that you are leveling up. You don't encounter certain things for no reason. And sometimes we encounter hard season and we're just indulging in it. We don't ever think that we can get out. But
Mhm.
anytime you enter into, it's like, for example, when you're flying and you're going to, like, I'm from Jamaica. So when you go to Jamaica, you experience a bit of turbulence, you know, we know that turbulence is not going to be for long, even though at that time it's like hold on to everything that you can, because we don't know if this thing is going to go down. You're fearful and you're experiencing a turbulence, but this is not gonna be for long. This is not gonna. You're thinking about landing in Jamaica safely on a beach with a cocktail in your hand. You're already thinking about that. But just experience the turbulent seasons in your life for that short time. Just experience it, because it there is a lesson in there. But experience it, but still think ahead and know that that's going to be my destination, and that's what the outcome is going to be. So yeah, that's what I would say.
I love that. And so what I want to ask you next is, what gives you a meant for more mindset?
Meant for more mindset. Again, who I see myself to be. Who I see myself to be, even though I'm not currently that person, that sums it up. Who I'm meant to be mindset. I'm not there yet. I'm seeing myself doing X, Y, and Z, but I don't have the resources. I don't have the connects. I don't have whatever it is that I have to have in me, but I know that is who I am supposed to be and what I want to be. So that is what makes me have that mindset of keep going. Whatever that keep going looks like, that is what I'm going to do until I get there. So that's what I would say. Just having a vision, having a vision of my better self, if that makes sense. Or having a vision of who I am. Yeah, having a vision of who I'm meant to be, but I'm not currently there yet. And that's okay.
Yeah.
And once I get there, there's definitely something else that I'm going to see that I'm going to want to. So the cycle never repeats. It never stops, because again, I was talking to someone the other day and I said, every time you accomplish a goal, you're going to have another one. You're going to have another one, and you're going to have another one. Just like how, okay, your destination is this, but you want to go higher, you want to go to the next, so that there's nothing that you always have to have that meant to be mindset, because there's always something that you want to accomplish. There's always you will always want to become better. So that's what I will definitely say.
I love that. So Phylisia, I just want to commend you and just acknowledge you and just say, thank you for your vulnerability. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you for having I love the idea of who you're meant to be, that meant to be mindset. So I love it.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you show up as you and you're honest. And in your honesty, you're able to give to others. We didn't touch on it so much in this interview, but you sound like a real giver. Like you're somebody who gives a lot. And in your giving, you're just sharing your light and you're shining your light and you're showing people a way forward. So I commend you 1,000%. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're very, very
welcome. You. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. It was really a pleasure talking to you.
Oh, and it was a pleasure talking to you too. Please let our listeners know where they can connect with you online.
Okay, so Instagram, you can connect with me. I always forget my Instagram handles. So Rushà _VA. So RUSHA _VA. Or my personal Instagram is Phylisia Rushà. If you can just type it in, you'll see me. So it's PHYLISIA Rushà, RUSHA. You can find me on Instagram by that name, and you can also find me on LinkedIn by that name. If you want to check my website out, it's www.rusha-va.co.uk. So www.rusha-va.co.uk. That's my website.
Thank you so much. And guys, I'll also put that in the show notes so you'll be able to click on the link and go to all those wonderful places to visit and connect with Phylisia. So that's it, guys. We've come to the end of another episode. Thank you so much for listening to me and Phylisia today. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I shall see you on the next one. Take care. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. For more about me, what I do, check out my website, nextlevelcoachinggroup.com, where you can also download my free Release Your Mindset Blocks guide. You can also follow me on Instagram at Next Level Coaching Group or on Facebook at Next Level Lounge. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any upcoming episodes. And if you enjoyed this episode, please leave me a rating and review. Thanks. See you on the next one.